Good evening and welcome. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. Bringing you the news, I'm Tharusha Kumar Singha. Up first, in your headlines.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Hundreds of fishermen launched their boats to defend the sea of Sri Lanka. Will fertilizer be airlifted to Sri Lanka? Final decision due tomorrow. Teachers' associations under threat. If permission is not granted to increase fuel prices, a mechanism will be established to issue petrol and diesel. 2 people in Bandaragama attacked with swords in broad daylight.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Our sea is invaluable to the entire world. Our sea is full of unlimited resources. Our sea is the heritage that will pass on to our children. Let's protect our sea from foreign influence. Let's use our name and call it our sea.
The Sea of Sri Lanka.
That was a protest staged by Sri Lankan fishermen today. Indian fishermen have been illegally encroaching on the Sri Lankan seas and breaching our maritime borders. They are also using an illegal fishing practice known as bottom trawling, which is causing irreparable damage to our marine resources. Local fishermen launched their boats today to demand a solution to this issue.
The protest began at the Kallapadu coast in Mullaitivu this morning. Tamil National Alliance parliamentarians M.A. Sumantiran, Shanakyan Rasamanikyam and S. Sridharan were among those who attended the protest. Black flags were hoisted on the fishing boats that set sail as a sign of protest. Sri Lankan fishermen who reached Point Pedro in Jaffna staged a protest to inform the government of their issues.
This procession that we started from Mullaitivu today is to draw attention of the world to the banned fishing method called the bottom trawling. Bottom trawling is a method by which the seabed is totally wiped off. All marine resources disappear, and presently our fishermen are at their wits' end. When they cast their net in the morning, it's all destroyed. It's cut away by these trawlers that put the bottom trawling equipment down to the seabed. Our people are suffering immensely, particularly the fishery community, but all of us.
Sri Lanka නීතියේ තියෙන නීතිය ගරු ඩග්ලස් දේවානන්ද ගරු ඇමතිතුමා.
We have to stage this protest today due to the failure of Minister of Fisheries Douglas Devananda to enforce the law. Sri Lanka does not have fertilizer, but the people in the north don't have fertilizer and they cannot engage in fishing as well. When Indian fishermen engage in fishing in our seas and take away all the fish, our fishermen lose their means of income.
අපේ ජනතාවගේ ජීවනෝපාය මාර්ගය නැති වෙනවා.
The government does not treat the fishermen in the north and east well. That is the reason why these fishermen have been left helpless like this. The law must be enforced properly. We need to hold discussions with our neighboring countries and maintain cordial relations with them. If we do that, our fishermen can engage in fishing without any fear. The government, ministers of the government or the people with them cannot provide solutions to our problems. Those who are scared of India and are just listening to whatever India says don't provide us with any solutions. I would like to request the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to ask your fishermen not to destroy the marine resources of Sri Lankan fishermen. Stop it immediately. With the failure of authorities to prevent Indian fishermen from encroaching and fishing in the Sea of Sri Lanka, the illegal practice of bottom trawling used by these Indian fishermen continue to deplete our marine resources daily. Using this method for fishing destroys all marine life in the area. This increases the threat of parts of the Sea of Sri Lanka becoming dead zones. The repercussions caused due to illegal encroachment by Indian fishermen does not only affect fishermen in the north, but the entire economy of the nation.
Do
not consider this as an issue that only affects the fishermen of the north. The stock of fish collected in the northern province has a direct impact on the national economy of the country. The government is not taking any measures against this. It is legal for any Indian or foreign fishing vessels to enter Sri Lankan waters. They are fishing using the bottom trawling method. They fix 2 metal rods on 2 boats, attach a net in the middle and destroy even the smallest of species and all other forms of marine life. They not only use this illegal fishing method, they also attack our fishermen, destroy their fishing equipment and boats. Indian trawlers can be seized and confiscated. Not only that, under the existing laws they can be fined up to 7.5 million rupees. About 10,000 of these vessels encroach every month, and about 2 of these vessels are impounded and produced in court. As a percentage, the number of vessels impounded is only 0.3%. The leaders of our country cannot take a stern decision on this matter. This is an issue that affects the sovereignty and national security of our country. The Hindu reports that the Fisheries Department in Tamil Nadu has taken steps to fine fishermen who cross the Indo-Sri Lanka maritime border. Close to 1.1 million Indian fishermen in Tamil Nadu use trawlers and fiber vessels to engage in fishing activities. How are Indian fishing vessels then entering the Sea of Sri Lanka?
The Minister of Agriculture says a final decision on importing nano-nitrogen urea fertilizer will be taken tomorrow.
Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Udita Jayasinghe said a meeting to make the final decision regarding the importation of nano-nitrogen urea fertilizer will be held at the Presidential Secretariat at 9 a.m. tomorrow. 100,000 litres of nano-nitrogen urea fertilizer could be airlifted to Sri Lanka by Tuesday. A cost of 9 billion rupees will be incurred to import 2.2 million litres of nano-nitrogen urea fertilizer.
Farmers allege that the government is already speaking about a famine in the country as a result of not being able to reap a proper harvest in the coming season. These were among several allegations levelled against the government at a number of protests staged by farmers across the country.
Mr. President, you cannot do this by speaking about taking a step forward and taking a step backward. Instead of going overseas and speaking in front of the General Assembly, come and speak to the farmers in the country. Come and take a look at the ground situation. If you are trying to give the chairman of provincial councils millions of rupees and prepare for the next elections, try it and see what happens. We as farmers have many war weapons. We have many other issues that need to be addressed.
The government has assured the farmers that they will be paid compensation for any losses that they suffer.
Although they say that compensation will be provided, there are many people who were fooled by those promises in the past. We inform the government that farmers will not be fooled by such promises again. We would like to ask the minister, instead of simply saying that compensation will be provided, tell us how you are going to provide us with compensation.
The farmers also spoke about certain application forms that are issued to them. The real issues faced by farmers were highlighted at a protest organized by members of 42 farmers' organizations in Kantale today. Shops at the Norelia Economic Zone and other shops in the Norelia town were closed down while a protest was staged in areas including Mipilimana, Kandila, Kuda Oya and Kandapola.
Carrot seeds are not available. You must bear responsibility for the destruction that you have caused to the country. We will surround Nawalapitia and then we will surround your houses and destroy them. The medicine that we produced for 1,200 rupees is now 3,750 rupees. Are these the people we voted for? If we don't get an answer to these issues within a month, we will bring hundreds of thousands of people from Nuarelia. We will come to the Parliament roundabout. I request everyone in the government to reverse this decision on importing chemical fertilizer. Understand the pulse of the people. Why can't you see this? Is this how the people who call themselves rulers and leaders treat these innocent people?
The All Ceylon Farmers Federation and the Mahiyanganaya Soraboravawa Farmers Movement staged a protest today demanding agriculture officials to prevent the agriculture sector of the country from descending into chaos.
If these fields become barren, these farmers will sell off their lands. Large companies and rich smugglers are preparing to purchase them. That is the government's plan.
A protest organized by the Samagi Govijana Balavegi organization was held in Uhana, Ampara.
The rule of Gotabaya Rajapaksa is like the rule of the king of Kakilla. People who said that they will bring down organic fertilizer have now brought down potassium chloride. This is a fertilizer called MOP that was brought down in the past. These people are deceiving the public. Although they claim to be distributing organic fertilizer, in reality, they are distributing chemical fertilizer.
A group of farmers of the Ibbangamo Pradeshya Sabha, including the opposition leader of the Pradeshya Sabha, staged a protest in Ibbangamo today demanding for fertilizer. Farmers attached to the Goragama Farmers Organization also attended the protest.
These fields are being sowed without any fertilizer. We will not be getting paddy from these fields. What we will get is wild plants growing here instead. Prepare the members of the government to come and eat the wild plants that grow here. They can eat the grass that will grow on these fields.
Why has the government decided to provide organic fertilizer all of a sudden if they were going to provide concessions to the farmers? Has an assessment been carried out in this regard? Farmers raised concerns in Polonnaruwa today. We will not be caught in your lies. We want to know how much money will the government pay us? How much will they pay for 1 acre of damaged crops? The farmers must be apprised of that through a circular issued by the Agricultural and Agrarian Insurance Board. The circular must say that farmers who use organic fertilizer will get this much money as compensation. Farmers have cultivated 2.5 million acres in this country. If they are going to pay 25,000 rupees per acre, I don't think the government can handle that much money. Does the President know how many acres are being cultivated in Sri Lanka? Does the Minister of Agriculture know that? We are not ready to adhere to these theatrics.
During a media briefing held yesterday, it was alleged that a political motive exists behind the fertilizer protest staged across the country.
I am sure you are aware that farmers took to the streets recently owing to the fertilizer shortage in the country. Chemical fertilizer companies are behind these protests. They aggravate the farmers and they bribe JVP's Namal Karunaratne. The majority of those who lead these protests are members of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party have also joined them. As a part of the ruling faction, it is regretting to say so. Today, the nation's problem has been politicized. None of us visit the farmers. We know this is a challenge because we know they will criticize us if we visit them. Therefore, we are staying away from this. When we do that, other factions aggravate the farmers to stage protests. When the farmers are provided with fertilizer, the problem is solved. Regardless of how much volume the farmers make, we are unable to import chemical fertilizer now. It will take a minimum period of 2 months. By then, the Maha season will be over. The farmers have to operate the agriculture sector with the organic fertilizer that have been provided. We have said that they will be paid compensation if there is a reduction in their produce. What more can we do about this?
What do you think about the patriotism in the country at the moment? It is with pleasure that I say the Samagi Jana Balawegaya has filed a fundamental rights application at the Supreme Court to protect the rights of farmers. The price of essential goods has increased. The government does not have money to reduce the prices of goods, but they have more than enough money to give 100 million to a chairman of a development committee and 50 million to a vice chairman. They have money to do that, but they do not have money to reduce the price of milk. The leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa, expressed these views when he declared open a party leader's office of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya in Rubbervatta, Tissamaharame.
Meanwhile, the Samagi Jana Balawegaya staged a protest today in Kurunegala, urging the government to understand the plight of the people amidst the worsening economic situation of the country.
We would like to inform the government to put aside their snobbishness and implement a program to provide fertilizer to the people. The people are suffering. They said that there would be a healthy flow of dollars once Basil Rajapaksa assumes office. None of that has happened. The younger generation is seen standing in queues outside passport offices because they are unable to live in this country. The Minister of Finance must resign. What is the point of a finance minister who cannot control the prices of goods?
The protest, organised by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, was staged in Mavathagama, Kurunegala today. Will the prices of petrol and diesel increase in the same manner how prices of gas, milk powder, wheat flour and cement were increased in the recent past? The chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation expressed his views on the matter.
As the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, we hope that the government will provide us with some sort of concession if fuel prices are not increased. On the 1st of October, the price of a barrel of crude oil was $85 US. Today, it's at $96 US. The usual usual fuel usage in the country was about 3,300 metric tons. During the time the country was under lockdown, that requirement was reduced to half that number. Now the requirement at present is at 4,800 metric tons. As the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, we will take steps to make available the sufficient fuel for the people of this country.
නිකුත් කිරීමේ වේගයේ ක්‍රමවේදය වෙනස් කරමින් අපේ ජනතාවට අවශ්‍ය ඉන්ධන ප්‍රමාණය ලබා දීමට අපි කටයුතු කරගෙන යනවා කියන කාරණාවත් මෙතෙන්දී අපි පැහැදිලිව සඳහන් කරනවා.
IOC පිරුම්හල්වල මේ තෙල් හිඟයක් පවතිනවා. ඔබතුමාලා දැනුවත් කරලාද මේ තෙල් හිඟයට ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මොකද්ද කාරණේ කියලා ඔබතුමාලා දන්නවද?
ඔවුන් ප්‍රමාණය අඩු කරත් කනිත නීතිගත සංස්ථාවේ ඉන්ධන පිරුම්හලෙන් සාමාන්‍ය පාරිභෝගිකයා අවශ්‍ය ඉන්ධන ලබා ගැනීම දැනට සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
මේක මේ මුලින්ම මුට්ටිය දාලා බලනවා වගේ වැඩක් වෙන්න බැරිද? මේ IOC එකට මුල්ම අවස්ථාවක් දෙනවා මේ තෙල් හිඟියක් වගේ දෙයක් ඇති කරලා මේ ජනතාවට මේක පොඩ්ඩක් දැනෙන්න ඇරලා ඊට පස්සේ IOC එකයි සිපෙට්කෝ එකයි දෙකම එකතු වෙලා මිල වැඩි කරන්න යන මේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් වෙන්න බැරිද මේක? නෑ මේ මුට්ටිය දැමීමක් කිය
It is not fair to say that the government cannot control the price hike in the world market. The government has taken steps to manage the situation. We have details of yet another data scam that took place in the country. But first, let's cross over to a short commercial break. More news on the other side.
TV1 News First, main sponsor.
Students complete the ACBT University Entry Foundation in 8 months for 288,000 rupees. 1 qualification, 2 destinations. O-level students can save time, money and stress. For 288,000 rupees, complete the ACBT Foundation in 8 months and enroll into universities in UK, Australia or ACBT partnered universities in Sri Lanka. Enrolling now. Call 071 115 1234.
Bellboy's got you covered. Download Bellboy today to get all your household appliance fixing and repairs done. Now available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to the news. Up next is our special segment, Crime Watch.
Crime Watch.
2 people who were in a 3-wheeler opposite the Valgama housing scheme in Bandaragama were attacked this morning. According to reports, both arms of one individual were dismembered. The other had sustained injuries on his left hand. One of the victims had notified the police of the attack. The other victim, who sustained serious injuries, had collapsed opposite the Valgama cemetery. A rivalry between 2 gangs of drug peddlers is suspected to have led to the attack.
Crime Watch.
Paddy fields do not have fertilizer. Shops are almost empty, and teachers are demanding for a solution to their salary anomalies. In the meantime, millions of rupees are being allocated to chairmen of development committees. In the face of certain actions taken to the detriment of the general public, their only recourse is the law. Views were expressed on the collapse of the rule of law in the country at a media briefing convened by a group of lawyers today.
Indictments are read after a long process, and the court will then ask the defendant if he is guilty or innocent. After this process is complete and the hearings of these cases are ongoing, can the Attorney General's Department all of a sudden withdraw these cases, citing the lack of evidence? Instead of protecting the rule of law, they appointed a commission to protect their cronies. They produced a report through this commission set to investigate political victimization. This report has recommended that many cases filed against the Rajapaksas be withdrawn. This has released members of the cabinet from these cases. This report has also recommended for the cases against the cronies of this government to be withdrawn. We saw Basil Rajapaksa being released from his case recently. There is no basis on which these indictments can be withdrawn. What is special about this situation is the fact that these cases that were withdrawn were approved by the former Attorney General. The former Attorney General who approved these cases is the current Chief Justice. The current Chief Justice is the person who signed off on those indictments during his time in the office of the Attorney General. Honorable Attorney General, we are sad that we see people who rob this country of its wealth waving goodbye and leaving the courthouse in broad daylight.
රටේ මහජන දේපල මංකොල්ල කාපු මිනිස්සු මහදවල් ටටා කියලා උසාවියෙන් බහලා යනකොට නීතිපතිතුමනි අපිට හරි කනගාටුයි. මිනිස්සු හිතන උසාවි ගිහිල්ලා වැඩක් නැහැ.
People are of the opinion that it is pointless to go to court. They believe that they cannot get justice in a court of law as the opposing party has a political affiliation. People believe that it is futile to file a complaint with the police as the other party is a relation of the president, the prime minister or a member of the local government in the area. When this sort of thing happens, the people take the law into their own hands.
Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera said the independence of institutions that protect the law and the rule of law has been undermined.
Excellency the President, at a time where you issue gazettes for everything, take steps to transform Sri Lanka Police into an unbiased and transparent governing body. Now there are drug peddlers everywhere. Thieves are everywhere. They go to politicians. In the recent past, senior police officers lamented before the authorities to promote them, taking into consideration their qualifications.
හැබැයි හුඟක් අය කියනවා සරත් වීරසේකර ඇමතිතුමාගේ ලියුමක් ගත්තොත් නම් එතුමාට කිව්වොත් වැඩේ කරනවා කියලා.
ඒක තමයි මහත්තයෝ මං කිව්වේ දේශපාලනීය කරන්නේ ඕක තමයි මං කිව්වේ.
This is exactly what I meant earlier. I called the minister yesterday. He was in Anuradhapura at the time. They cannot carry out these affairs according to their own whims and fancies. I would like to extend an invitation to all 225 MPs to come to the Abhyarame and read the letters I receive on a daily basis.
මම ආරාධනය කරනවා අභයාරාමයට ඇවිල්ලා එන ලියුම් ටික කියවන්න දවසකට. අන්න ෆයිල් කරලා 225 එන්න.
දැන් ඔතනින් වැඩිපුරම චෝදනා තියෙන්නේ මොන ඇමතිටද?
කාටවත් මම ඉල්ල කරන්න කැමති නෑ.
I would not like to level allegations against anyone. But if there is an investigation launched into this matter, then I will make my allegations.
දැන් ඉල්ල කරන්න මම කැමතියි.
ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මේ හැම ලියුමක්ම අන්තිමටම යන්නේ සරත් වීරසේකර ඇමතිතුමා ගාවටනේ.
පොලිස් පස්සෙන්
Yes, after the IGP, the letter is sent to him. But why is that? The IGP is there for that purpose.
As I mentioned just before the commercial break, details of yet another data scam have come to light. This time it is the data connected to the garlic scam that has been tampered with. It was revealed in court that details of the garlic scam on the database had been altered the day after the incident occurred. The Criminal Investigations Department informed the court of this discovery.
The data scam.
The assistant manager of Lanka Satosa, in a statement to the CID, had admitted that computer data regarding the garlic scam had been altered the day after the scam took place. Upon an inquiry by Newsfirst, Chairman of Satosa, Major General Anand Piris today confirmed this. He said that the management of the database of Lanka Satosa had been handed over to a private company. If that is the case, can the government's ability to protect our information be trusted? If data continues to be altered like this, the number of scams that will be swept under the carpet could be unfathomable. Minister Bandula Gunawardena was caught in the act. Now what has happened? The data has been wiped. Minister Gunawardena might come in a few days and say that Lord Waima deleted the data. We saw that the data of the NMRA was also wiped. Deleting data has now become the new style of the Rajapaksa government. The issue regarding his American citizenship is still there. Dual citizen Basil Rajapaksa has now begun his mission to normalize the deletion of government data. The biggest issue we have is, what are they trying to say to the country through wiping the data regarding the garlic scam? They are asking all their thieves to steal and then delete the data. This is where the country is headed to. These belong to the people of the country. Thieves and smugglers destroying this sort of data is the same as destroying the country. They might even say that they don't have information to file cases as the details have been deleted. Have they now started a program to delete information on government databases? The information of the cases that we filed might also be lost in the future, and the people who filed the cases might end up in jail while the accused go free. Even Minister Mahindananda might come out and say that the report submitted on the fertilizer was wrong. It cannot be found, or the data on that has been deleted. The deletion of data on the government cloud came to the limelight after sensitive information of the NMRA on the Lanka government cloud was wiped clean. A committee headed by former High Court Judge Kusala Sarojini Veerawardena was appointed to inquire into the matter. Other members of the committee are Professor Manik Hettiheva, Dr. Udayashri Karyavasam, A.H. Gamage and Dr. Prasad Kolambage. The interim report of this committee has already been handed over to State Minister Channa Jayasumana. What are the recommendations of this interim report? What are the recommendations in the report on how to identify the masterminds behind the data scam and on the measures that can be taken to recover this data? Who is behind the deletion of this sensitive information that is of vital importance to the entire citizenry of the country?
The data scam.
Making headlines tonight, the Ceylon Teachers Union claims that principals have been receiving threatening phone calls as of late.
The police have been contacting principals asking for the keys of the school premises. Is this a joke? No one will be handing over keys to anyone. We would like to clearly mention that a written order from a zonal education director must be issued to grant approval for that. The officer who takes charge of the keys should also take responsibility for the assets of the premises. We are aware that schools are shut down for a period of more than 3 months and are due to open on the 21st. As teachers, we would like to say that we are only ready for this if the authorities promise to solve our problem. If you are attempting to force the teachers to restart academic activities by holding a gun to them, that will not happen. We have ended up in worse situations. Our struggles cannot be called off with such attempts. Let's see how that is going to happen.
The ICC Men's T20 World Cup got underway today. We have the details for you on the other side of this short commercial break. And that's a wrap of the news. Thank you for watching and good night.